Hey, this is Jocelyn with Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, and I look forward to sharing with you what I learned because they also help me in my motherhood, as I am also a young mom of 4 kids and trying to navigate this phase of motherhood and pregnancy along with you. So let's do it together and let's try and find the thoughts that make our motherhood better and more enjoyable. Thanks for joining. If you could give me a rating and review on iTunes, I would really appreciate it. That also helps other mothers to help them find this podcast because of the algorithms. So if this podcast has more ratings and reviews, it will be put in front of more mothers. So if you could help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. Let's get on to our podcast episode. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life, and I can help you. Thanks for joining. All right, if you have been in my listening to my podcast, you know how much I love mindset work. Mindset work has changed my life. It has made me a happier mother. It has helped me through some very difficult pregnancies. And I have a passion and a desire to share what I have learned. And most times on my podcast, I include some type of mindset exercise to help you shift. Sometimes we don't realize where our thoughts need shifted, and sometimes hearing it from another person or through a podcast can help you to make that shift. I know that as I have listened to other mindset coaches on podcasts and I have heard them and their perspective, it helps me to realize some shifts that actually have helped significantly. Sometimes as well, we need an actual physical change. Like no matter how much we work with our thoughts and our mindsets, things just feel stuck. Have you ever felt that you were just stuck in motherhood? I have felt that way actually fairly recently. This last week, though, we have decided to change things up a little bit, and it has made a huge difference. So today I'm going to talk about how to get yourself open to physically try something new, which can help you to get unstuck and will make the thought processes much easier. Because sometimes we do just need that change because we are stuck, and until we make the effort to make the change, it's not going to happen. It's kind of like faith without works is dead. Say you have all these good thoughts, but things around you aren't changing and you're feeling stuck. If you're feeling stuck and you're not changing the things or some things around you, even though you have those positive thoughts, you're going to stay stuck. So sometimes we do need to branch out and try something new. I have a few tips today of new things that you can try if you are feeling stuck in your motherhood. The first thing is to change things up. So in our homeschool, we were having a hard time. Last week or 2 weeks ago, there was a day where I just cried a lot because it was really hard. I love homeschooling, but that day was really hard, and it just kind of built up. Like things had just kept seeming to get harder and harder. And I had to throw in the towel that day. We didn't do any school that day, and I was just really frustrated and feeling like I have this good goal. I have this vision of homeschooling my kids, and I see the potential of what it could do for me, my children, and our family. And that's what I want. And that day I was wanting to let it all go, so I was pretty discouraged. And I realized that something had to change. Keeping doing things the way that they were doing them was just getting us worse and worse. Like I said, it kind of built up. The previous days before that were hard. Even the weeks were difficult. It was hard. And when that moment came, I knew I had to change things up. And I did. It's amazing. It really is amazing how fast it can come to your mind what you need to change. I knew that we needed to change the time that my kids practice the piano. We had it where they were practicing the piano right after breakfast, and it was too hard. It wasn't working. And so I sat down with them and we talked about it, and we agreed to try practicing the piano before lunch. And we made that switch. And there was also another switch, 2 switches actually, that I really kind of were on my mind that I wanted to make. I have felt the need and the desire to read to my children more. And I decided we just had to start the day reading, and I had to be reading to them. But before I started reading, I knew that in order to change my thoughts about how schooling was going, I was going to need God's help. So I decided to start school with a prayer. So we switched up those 3 things. Everything else in school was the same. I just started with a prayer, read to my children, and we moved the time that my kids practiced the piano, and it made all the difference in the world. Things have gone so much more smoothly, and everybody has been more willing to work at it. Now, it definitely has taken work, and there still have been some moments where I've had to just slow myself down and breathe before I get angry, but it made a difference. Make a change. Even these small changes, like I just mentioned, can be so powerful in helping you. And now I feel like renewed energy and excitement with doing this, with doing the homeschool and the potential it can bring for me and my family. So change something about it. If something's not working in your motherhood, and I'll bet you know right now what that thing is, you also know a simple solution. They can come to us really easy. Implement that simple solution, even if it's as simple as moving the time that your kids practice the piano, and see the difference it can make. And also include God. As you include God in these changes, you will know that you are doing the right thing. I got a little long-winded on that, I'm sorry, but try something new. Try changing it up. The next tip is to try something new with a new recipe or a new way of cooking. I have to be honest, I have been scared of Instapots since they first came out. I saw too many pictures floating around the internet when they first came out of the Instapots exploding, and I kind of told myself I would never own an Instapot. Well, I'm a part of this little group here in the area where I live, and there is an older lady in this group who uses her Instapot. Like, she's old enough to be my grandma. Like, probably, I don't know how old she is, but she is an older lady. And every time we'd come to this group, she had something new that she did with her Instapot. And I was really impressed with how good they were. Anyways, this kind of got me going on maybe I should try an Instapot. Maybe I should. And so I found one that I bought off Facebook Marketplace for sale. It was cheap, but it looked new. Everything worked. It was funny. The guy actually said, I only bought this Instapot to impress the girl I was dating then. I was like, well, did you marry her? He's like, yeah, she's my wife now, and we have 2 Instapots. He didn't need it anymore. And so I think that was kind of a fun find, and also a cute little story of how he found her is buying the Instapot to impress her. Nonetheless, I got this Instapot and I decided to try it. And I had the Instapot for 3 weeks before I built up the courage to try it. I am still a little timid, and I put it in my laundry room to use it because if it does explode, I don't want anything in my kitchen to be taken out in the explosion. But I've done it. I did 2 batches of Blue Hubbard squash, and I decided to try some deer meat in it. So I actually have some deer meat in it. I used it yesterday, and I'm using it again today. But trying something new like that, a new way of cooking, I got into sourdough for a while too. I still enjoy cooking with sourdough. My next is trying gluten-free sourdough, so I'll try and let you know how that goes. But as you change up simple things that you do every day, like maybe adding an Instapot, maybe trying sourdough, maybe trying making your own bread from home, maybe trying to do home-cooked meals more than you eat out, as you implement those changes, that can help you to get a little more unstuck, because you feel a little bit more excited about life and the things you are trying, to see if they work and what you can actually do with it. It's kind of fun. And the third thing I would suggest when you are feeling stuck is to talk to someone. I actually had some moments this last weekend to talk to one of my cousins. He just got back from serving a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and he was just kind of glowing. And he was really excited to talk to me about like my plans and what I'm doing and the podcast, and I was just as excited to talk to him about his plans and his dreams and goals for the future and what he wants to do. And sharing with each other our desires, but also including Christ in our plans, including God, and sharing how we were trying to include God was really powerful in helping me to get more momentum in my motherhood and to get more excited about the goals that I've had and the dreams that I have. So sometimes just talking with someone, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's even a complete stranger at the store or the guy who helps you with your grocery pickup. I know that you can find these moments to talk to someone and to share some excitement or some energy with things that you want to do. Don't hole up in your house. Reach out. Sometimes, actually most of the time, you have to be the one to reach out. I know that is hard because we want people to reach out to us. I have felt the same way. I want people to reach out to me, but they just don't. I have to be the one to reach out. And it was actually me who reached out to this, my cousin, when we were at this gathering, and he thankfully helped carry the conversation by being willing to participate. But it was powerful. And to think what would have happened if I didn't reach out. So sometimes this is my encouraging you to get out of your comfort zone, but this can also help you move forward. You have to be the instigator. Call someone who's been on your mind. Call or FaceTime a family member who you've been thinking about. Go to their house if you're close. Drop by your friend's house that you haven't seen for a while. But try one of these few things. I listed 3 to change up your motherhood, to find deeper satisfaction, encouragement, and motivation in moving forward in this beautiful calling. Because I find that with the 3 things I implemented, some of them are for me. Like the Instapot was for me. Talking to my cousin was for me. But it affects my motherhood. And it affects the way that I live my life and the happiness that I experience when I do these things. So I'll give you a quick sum up, and I want you to try and implement these. Implement these things. And if you want to share with me your progress, I would love to hear it. Hit me up a message. My Facebook group, or my Facebook page, is called Pregnancy is Hard. And I know that this episode's not about pregnancy, but that's okay. That's where you can still contact me to share with me which one of these helped you make a change in your life. Podcasts are kind of one-sided. I talk to a computer and don't get a lot of feedback, but I would love to hear feedback if you have some with how this podcast has helped you or with how changing something in your motherhood has helped you. So that was actually the first tip, was to switch things up that you're doing. Change the times that you do certain things and change things up. The second tip was to try something new. I specifically mentioned how I am trying the Instapot right now. Try a new recipe, a new method of cooking. Try making your own bread at home, or something different that you haven't done before. And the third tip was to talk to someone. Share with them some of your hopes and dreams, and just visit. I think we as moms and women need that connection. And where it's easy to stay at home and to try and connect via social media, it's not as sincere and meaningful as a one-on-one conversation with a close friend or family member. Try one of these. I know you can do it. I know that you can become the mom that you want to be. Let's do it together. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts. for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be, through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.